I saw a cruise ship this morning out to sea. He didn't come in the heads. It's been a while. It's been 2 years since I've seen a cruise ship. You've probably got a bit of a cruise ship of your own if you're watching this video. Maybe not to that scale, and let's face it, that's not really our vibe anyway. You've probably got your own crude boat or something very luxurious, and if you don't, I reckon your mates do. And there's a possibility that you're looking for something really awesome to support that lifestyle that you've got or that you're moving into. And funnily enough, I'm on a boat that will do just that. I'm on the SACS Strider 11. My name's Dan Jones. This is Dan's Boat Life, and we're going to do a walkthrough starting right now. I'm here with Colin from SACS Marine Australia. I'm going to move to the back of the boat. So Cole, why don't you somehow make your way across there? I'll make my way to the transom, and let's have a bit of a yarn about this awesome boat. So the Strider 11, it's a model that's been around for a while, and I love it when I get to deal with boats that have been in production for quite an amount of time, because they just get them right. When you've been building something for many years, you've ironed out all the bumps, so to speak, and you end up with a really amazing product. And that's what I've just experienced, and that's the vibe or the feeling that I'm getting on this boat right now. We have taken it out to sea today. We did a little bit of an offshore test drive, and we're going to be filming an inshore test drive. We'll do that another day. So subscribe and have a look at that video if you're interested. But as I said, this is the walkthrough. So she's about 37 feet overall. This is moving into your Maxi RIB vibe, your big rib stage. So this is a vessel that you can take a large amount of people on. This is a vessel that you'll comfortably go up and down the coast or out to sea on, and this is a vessel that will sit really, really nicely next to your, I don't know, Mangusta 165 or something like that. It's going to be in keeping. So out on the transom, well, first things first, you can't ignore these motors. Twin 400 Mercs, so you get over 50 knots of these. Not the biggest horsepower. You can actually go twin 450, so that would just be an absolute hoot. This faux teak, I can't remember the exact name for it, it's more expensive than real teak, and the beauty of this stuff is it doesn't have any maintenance. So I'm a big fan of this because I like the look, I like the feel underfoot, and I also like this rubberized material. I don't even know if it is rubber. It doesn't absorb heat or cool so much, so they tend to maintain a bit more of a constant temperature underfoot. So if you're like me and you like to walk around barefoot on your boat, it's comfortable. So we've got a beautiful swim platform out the back here. The platform comes out to about yay length, so you'd only have less than a foot if you were reversed in and you were trying to step off the back of the boat. But you'd probably step off the side, would make a lot more sense on a boat like this. We got a really beautiful, solidly made stainless steel fold-out swim ladder just here on the starboard aft quarter. We've got little steps that go up into the boat on either side, so that's quite sensibly done. You've got two clear boarding zones on this boat, which is this aft and then midships when we get there. I can see the insets for the stainless poles. I'm not sure if they're stainless or carbon actually, for the sunshade, which will envelop this whole area in shade. Some nice big drop down cleats just here, couple of vents, a swim shower just on the starboard side, your stainless ski pole just here. That's kind of cool. It is also worth noting that the engine mounting has been really, really well done. I can see a couple of big plates and solid bolts. Not all manufacturers bother with the plates, and I don't know why, but we've got a strengthening bar and proper big plates there. So this is a really, really solid setup for a transom. I've got my shore power on the port aft quarter just here. And yeah, that's about it. The ribs come, the rigid inflatable or the inflatable section stops here, and the platform extends foot and a half aft of that. But I think this area right here is, this is the story of the Strider 11 right now. Like if you have luxurious lunches, if you want to transit with many guests in comfort, this is the way to do it. Happy days. And how many people could you fit here? I keep getting comments that I overstate the number of people that can fit on a boat. I think it's not possible to overstate it on this one. I reckon you could easily get 8 people or more seated around here. And I mean, these are deep seats. I'm 5'7", but I've still got space behind me here. So you could load it up with some fancy throw cushions. You've got this huge table here. There's 5 drink holders set in the middle, but it looks like it's made for a wine bottle and then 2 glasses on either side. And this beautiful table, it's solidly built. We've got stainless steel, fancy, that's proper Italian design there, grab hold just there, so you can reduce the size when you've got to get your beer belly out from the middle or just transit to go to the loop. And this thing will also electrically drop down and turn into one massive sun lounge. So I think that's just fantastic. I could envisage, you've had lunch, reading a book, set this up in sun lounge mode, put your throw cushions out, and make sure you got the sunshade up. That's happiness right there. Like, what more do you want in life? It is worth noting this upholstery, this material. I really like this. This has got a bit of I have no idea what this is. It's got a bit of like modern bamboo-y vibes to it. Like there's some sort of texture that goes through the upholstery. If anyone knows what this is, leave a comment in the description below. I've not seen something like this. It looks really striking from the drone. It feels good and hard wearing as I sit on it and move around, and the colour is a colour that, like, when the girls have their fake tan on their legs and it sometimes rubs off on the upholstery, well, you wouldn't notice it on this colour because it's all going to be camouflaged in, so you won't have those embarrassing moments. But yeah, that's all cool. Got a couple of drains in the floor. We've got 1 drain here, 2 drains there, which drain overboard, not into the bilge. That is worth noting because, if you were to keep a boat like this on a swing mooring, which, let's face it, lots of guys in the eastern suburbs would for a boat like this because we just don't have the marina facilities, you could do it. And underneath, all storage. So it's got a sensibly designed little opening mechanism just here, and you've got the covers, you've got the poles, they're all neatly stored down here. We'll cut to a shot of that. But that's quite easy to operate, and the cushion itself is not going to fly off if you are opening it underway because it's got that mechanism. So I'm going to go this way. Cole, why don't you move back, and so everybody can have a look at what we're doing here. The feeling I got on this boat when we were out at sea was like a sense of security. Like, how do I describe this? Some boats will have a tendency to, I could feel the flexing, I could feel a little bit of movement, I can hear a few rattles, and that's cool. Everything's built for a purpose, and that's fine. But this boat was solid. Nothing moved, nothing rattled, and when you look around the construction, you can kind of understand why. So let's talk about that. We've got a little bit of an entertainment station just here. This is hot and cold water. Most of the time on outboard boats, it's just cold water. So there is a hot water cylinder which runs electrically on an inverter. We've got a little cutting board plate here. It's quite fancy. And that would be an optional cooker as well, which would be electric as well. Couple of fridges. I don't know this brand. It's Vertigo. Must be Italian. But 2 stainless steel fridges, and I've got freezer drawers in there. And under the floor, I've got a huge amount of storage. So under here, access into the bilge, and you can get access moving aft to where all your batteries are, because Originally, they did have an inboard option. I'm not sure if that's really their vibe anymore, but you have a huge amount of space down there, tankage and battery, so it's all accessible. I can see 2 speakers there and there. There is the buttons for the up-down on the table just here. I really like the handles, latches, I guess you call them latches. These are like, they almost have a custom vibe to them for opening all these deck hatches, the water and the fuel in. Super high quality. So it's just all those little details which you'll notice a lot of builders are going to, it's not cut corners, they're just building to a price, whereas you can tell the SACS, they're not building to a price, they're just building the best that they can get. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4 mood lights just under here, and I can also see my battery on-off hatch just down the back there. So at the beginning of the day, you'd go down there, open the little hatch, battery's on, take your covers off, and you're ready to rock and roll. So that's your barbecue entertainment station. This is the aft supports for the T-top. We'll have a look at that when we're coming back. But when you get to the middle of the boat here, this area just here seems like a logical place to board people on and off your big boat. In terms of places to hold on, you've got this, it's like a grab bar. You don't have any safety issues because some of these T-tops on some boats extend out quite a way. So if you're a tall bloke and you step up, you might wallop your head on some designs, but this one's quite cleverly built. It's all carbon fibre and quite aerodynamic, but if you were stepping here, boom, onto the other vessel, you're not gonna collect yourself on anything. You've got a big grab hold here, you've got another grab hold there, and a skipper, you know, if I was operating the vessel and sending the guests this way or that way, I can kind of control everything quite easily and quite sensibly. So I want you to come forward a little bit more, guys, and try and get this helm into shot because there is a lot to talk about here. One thing I didn't point out, but we'll cut to a shot of that. Below that midships area, we have 2 fender and ropes lockers. So again, sensible place to board, sensible place, logical place to store things that you're going to need. So everything's kind of at hand. So yeah, I spoke about the stainless. You can't. This is really beautiful stuff here. I love seeing good stainless. It's huge tubing, really solid, and it's clearly good stuff. So it's aerodynamic, streamlined, and gives you something to grab onto. When you are behind the helm, we've got this same upholstery, 2 real racy vibe kind of seats, quite comfortable, easy to operate. We've got the flip-up bolster. This area has been designed for 2 people, and I didn't find any negatives at all behind the wheel because from a standing position, you've got, I'm 5'7", standing up here, you've easily got 6'5" or more height just here. The sight lines, you're looking through the glass, and you'd really have to be over 6'3", I reckon, to have this in your eye line. But because there's no structure to the windscreen, you're not going to actually have anything really blocking your eyesight. So for a real go-fast boat that this is, it's kind of nice to have nothing impeding your vision, because I like to always look out, really far in advance when I'm doing my 50 knot sort of speeds, which this boat will do. But anyway, if you want to find out about those speeds, you'll have to subscribe and get notified about the inshore test drive when I've filmed it, because I haven't done that yet. But at the dash, we've got a nice dark finish up forward. I like seeing that because it's not going to blare back in my face from a reflection point of view. Got a compass just there. Nobody uses them anymore, but it's there. I got real carbon, not carbon wrap. This is real carbon. I can see that by the finishing around on the edges, and it's all finished beautifully. But what have we got? Starting in this section just here, we got all our analog displays. So both engines coming down on port and starboard. We got the trim, we got temperature, we got PSI and fuel. We've got about 550 odd litres on this one, and then trim, temp and PSI on port. Then we've got our Raymarine display just here with the touch screen. It is touch screen, but you've also got the control on starboard. I like having this because when your fingers are wet, sometimes these are difficult to use, or when you're bouncing through waves, it's a little bit hard to operate the touch screen. So having something to revert back to in the traditional way, it can be handy. We've got the Fusion system. We're all familiar with those. That'll Bluetooth to your phone. We do have a bow thruster on port, and it's the joystick version, not the button version. So that's always a little bit easier to use. Now I mentioned the active trim in my offshore test drive, how I don't like it, but I've since learnt that you can actually dial these in to suit your boat. So you actually need to teach the active trim what your boat settings are, and then it will actually provide you with the service that it's designed for. So there you go. I didn't know that, and I just found it was pissing me off all the time because it was trimming the boat when I felt I could do a better job myself. So I'll have to try that on the next drive as to whether that's a real benefit or not. These are typical Euro buttons here. They're using signs instead of a language because everyone speaks multiple languages, but it's all pretty straightforward. Anchor up and down. These are all different lights operations. Horn just here, bilge lights, fan blower, bilge pumps, water pressure, fridge, auxiliary, so all of your stock standard stuff just here. Got the 2 key starts for the motors just here. That's a Raymarine VHF just there. Your safety lanyard just here, and that attaches just over here on starboard. Your diagnostics plug in for the mechanics. This is your card for your navigation, and the throttle base as well. It's a stock standard electronic throttle for Mercury. So you've got your up down just here. You've got your other controls just here, and you can operate it on single lever, which you might do on this boat because this is absolutely a boat you'll do some offshore journeys on. Whilst we're here, there is a grab handle just here. That's quite sensible for the skipper. You might find yourself using that at times. The wheel is fixed, and I got to add, it's a really beautiful wheel. They got the SACS logo in here. This is not the stock standard ones that you see everywhere else. This has got some other stuff going on, and it's a black leather stitched wheel, which is pretty nice. The other thing that I always notice and enjoy, short man step, and it is a sensible design. So with a seat like so, I'm 5'7", I'm just resting my toes on there. Reaching the wheel is comfortable, and I think this is a setup that's going to be good for multiple body types. So I probably think the standing is going to be what you'll do most of the time. It is such a quick boat, you're going to get to your destination very quickly. So you probably will stand up, you'll be turning around, you'll be socialising, and you'll be rafting up against boats and pulling into docks and that sort of thing. And for that purpose, it's ideal because you can see everything, communicate with everyone. A couple more downlights. So these are just LED white lights down, so that'll be good when you're in social mode. And I think that's everything here. Oh, and then I've got a safety grab bag storage below the floor here, and more storage, so covers at the back, more bits and pieces here, and access to the fuses just at the helm there. So that's all sensible. Let's start making our way forward. I can see stainless steel navigation lights, so green and then red on port. Beautiful, beautifully finished center console. We'll come back to that. I'll do the bow first. This is the beauty of these like Maxi RIBs. You know, I think this is for Australia. I think this is SACS's niche now. Ribs are becoming very, very popular. They've really exploded in popularity in Australia, and lots of people traditionally had ribs, small ribs, very small ribs, you know, your 16 to 17 footers, and then up to about 30 feet. But for the large, luxury, capable ribs, we never really had them in great numbers in this country. It's something you knew about because you'd been on holidays to the Greek islands or somewhere and you'd seen them around. It's really only now that they're starting to come into Australia in any great numbers, and I think SACS have really nailed the market in terms of the quality, the options, and the availability. So, and this is great because you've got so much space down the back of the boat. If your big boat was up north and you were just doing some winter boating, you can still come and utilise the boat with 5, 6, 10 people and have a great day. There is a sun lounge which will infill this whole area. And one of the great things about ribs, you don't really need to load it up with cushions because this design here is very comfortable. So, you know, imagine your winter sunshine when you're not burning to a crisp. This would be quite pleasurable up here. You know, reading a book, midday sun till about 2 o'clock before it gets cold. I'd be stoked to be up here. What a great thing to do. And then if it's in the middle of summer, it's nice to catch some of that evening sundowners on your boat, come up here for a drink and watch the sunset. There's like literally nowhere better to be. But anyway, I'm rabbiting on. A couple of things worth pointing out. These steps have a practical function because the anchor is below the bow. It doesn't protrude from the bow. So you can nudge this up nose into a dock, you know, if you need to go get your fish and chips, a boat, or someone else's house, for example, and you can board them, boom, 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 straight on and off safely. You're going to be at the helm, you can see everything, and you can control the bow with the bow thruster. So that's good. A little bit of a storage spot here, so you don't need to be transiting back to the boat. You could keep another little rope here if you were just tying up and hanging off your mate's boat. You can leave that rope there. When you are anchoring, you just need to undo the safety strap just here, and you've got a quick anchor windlass. It's all stainless chain, stainless anchor, and then you can just sight it all, make sure it all came up properly, and keep an eye on things from there. And then, you know, this is a boat that you're going to do water sports on. You are going to be interested in paddle boarding or various other things, and so storing your water toys. Well, here we go. There's a sup board right there. As I was saying, that's the kind of activity you would do on something like this, and that's where you'd store it. So all very sensible. We've got this is a hatch going down to the cabin, which we're going to get to in a second. And Cole, why don't you come to the front of the boat and look back here, because we can't get off the deck without just appreciating the design that's going on here. So this is, I really like Italian stuff. Who doesn't? But this is great. This has got an aerodynamic function. We're on a ultra fast boat, but it's just beautifully finished. This is like some sort of metallic paint job. We've got a bit of a matte grey here. Look at this grate. That's a metal, oh no, maybe it's plastic. Not too sure. Grate just there with speakers just hidden behind it. So isn't that great? So that's all quite beautiful. It's very functional because the windscreen just is just sitting straight over that with a few bolts just there. And then the supports for the T-top just start here but follow the lines. And this T-top is carbon. So it's all real carbon, aerodynamically perfect at speed. And then even things like your VHF aerial have been painted to match. And also they put it in a position where a short man like me can still unfold it and wind it down if you're going under a low bridge or something like that. So yeah, I think that's everything on deck. Come with me, let's go check out the cabin downstairs. Okay, so let's see what the interior is like. Well, first things first, I can pretty much stand up in here. So there is enough space to get changed, come down, put your swimmers on. So that's probably all you're going to be doing in a cabin like this. But you come down 2 natural teak steps. The second step wraps around, then you've got a teak floor here and a beautiful little finishing here. Everywhere you look on this boat, they're finishing the minor details. But you come down to this bed. This looks like a proper double. So come in and see if you can capture all this. But I'll just have a little lie down. So at my feet, there is this hatch, so you can get cross-flow ventilation, and we've got another hatch just there. So this is absolutely a spot that you could overnight. I see this as great for a couple, and even tall guys. Like my feet are on the end now, and my outstretched arms are touching this bulkhead just here, and then you've probably got a little bit more space on port. The other thing worth noting, the design of the cabin sole, there's no sharp angles. This is all nicely curved and finished off, so if you did jump up in the middle of the night, or if you were rolling around or active for whatever reason, you're not going to hurt yourself. So that's good. And then I've got downlights all the way around. So I've got a couple up here, a couple down there, and then as you step out of bed, you've got this leather wrapped ridge just here. So once again, the minor or the fine details, it's not going to cut into your legs when you're doing this and stepping up. And then you've got this little Corian type bench top just here. This is a sensible place for putting things. You know, even if you were just putting your sunscreen on and you wanted to rest your phone somewhere, you can do it. You got that little opening hatch that I mentioned there. This is good just for a few little personal items, handbags. A couple of handbags would go down there. Obviously, these cabins are pretty much used as storage areas during the day. So the overnight option, it really is just the occasional time when someone's going to do that on a boat like this. What most people are going to do, they're going to get on with their 8, 10, 12 friends. They're all going to have soft beach bag type things with them, and they're going to need somewhere to put all that stuff. So they'll take their shoes off. They might take out the things that they're using for the day, which might be their mobile phones, their sunscreen, their hats and sunnies. And then they're going to have to put their bags with all the rest of their gear somewhere. So that's going to go down here quite happily for the day. And then you can stack up phones, have them on charge down here. You got Ray Marine, so that's VHF. The main stereo head unit just here, but you can control it at the helm, and your main power board just here. So we would have turned our batteries on outside, and then you can operate individual fuses just there. But the other reason why you're going to want to come downstairs is to go to the loo. So yes, we've got the outside shower on the back of the boat, and this boat does have hot and cold water throughout. But, you know, if you were using this boat to, you know, a lot of guys are going to do maybe take delivery in the Mediterranean on a boat like this, spend a couple of months cruising the Med, and then ship it back to Sydney. What an amazing experience that would be. But if you're in the Med, you've got to be fancy. So you're going to have to put your nice shirt on before you get off. You can't just walk around barefoot like we do here. So having a little loo like this with a proper rain head shower, and you know, pull out little fancy tap, that's 2 showers, okay? You can really get ready on this boat if you need. You've got everything that you need. You've got a proper porcelain loo, that's an electric loo with a holding tank, storage underneath there, a really fancy nice basin, place for your toothbrushes, proper tap faucet as the Americans would call it, neat little mirror, opening hatch just there to let the hot air out, and this beautiful rain head shower. The timber on the inside, I don't know if this is like a light oak perhaps, but on the head side, it's all finished with a water repellent paint by the feel of it, and then a beautiful teak grate on the floor for taking up the water, and the sump pump's obviously going to take that out as well. So yeah, downstairs, everything you need for multiple occasions. Well, thanks for joining me on that walkthrough on the offshore test drive. Yeah, I really think SACS have got the Maxi RIB market to themselves almost at the moment. There's plenty of big ribs coming in to Australia, but these guys have been doing it for the longest amount of time, and they've got good market penetration. And from what I just experienced, there's a reason for that. This is a great, solid, capable boat. It's going to do what you want it to do. If you want to ship it north and then bring it south in the summer, if you want to do really awesome day entertainment setups with minimalistic lifestyle in mind, no fussing around, just run a hose over it at the end of the day and get back to one of your other awesome activities that keep you occupied from day to day, the SACS Strider 11 is going to do it. My name's Dan Jones. This has been Dan's Boat Life. See you on the next one.